Oh my goodness. Terry, did we get those totes from the last episode situation? Did we get that squared away?
Why do we need that? We have a bathtub.
Oh, welcome back to the Almost Sideshow, where we're breaking down Breaking Bad. I'm really excited. My name is Adam, and I'm joined, as always, by Terry, the probably the cooler person on this podcast. How you doing, Terry?
I'm doing great. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're back at it.
Breaking Bad. Breaking Down.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
That will never die. It will never die.
That's spontaneity. There we go. Really excited to break down.
Those are the best quotes, or when those are the best quotes when they're spontaneous like that.
Exactly. Anyway, season 1, episode 2, The Cat's in the Bag. I'm really excited to break this episode down because there's some stuff that does happen. There's not a whole lot of characters here, but I think there's a good tasting, if you will, of a sampling of different storylines that are slowly developing, and some characters we can dive a little bit more into. I think there's a rewatching, and I really dug it. Brings back some memories from when I watched it before as well. So, Terry, what are your kind of initial thoughts about episode 2 here?
Yeah, this one is really when things you start to realize things are going to start getting real a little bit here. You start to get the tone of what this season is all about, which is kind of like these two fumbling around trying to learn how to be criminals. Which you get a little bit in the first episode, but it really starts to ring true in this episode, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. Should we get into this? Should we do it?
Let's dive into it. Let's do it.
All right.
What's it about, Terry?
Season 1, episode 2, Cats in the Bag. Here's what happens. Episode 2 starts where episode 1 stops, with Walt finishing his realization of his new lust for life.
Yeah, there we go.
When finished, he goes to the bathroom and once again coughs himself unconscious. We then find out how they got out of the desert. A friendly man came along and pulled them from the ditch. Once they were on the move again, they realized that one of their bodies in the back wasn't all the way dead.
Dang, I hate when that happens.
I hate when that happens. They stash the RV back at Jesse's house while they figure things out. Skyler starts getting suspicious when Jesse calls the next morning. Walt and Jesse end up imprisoning Crazy 8 in Jesse's basement while they flip a coin to decide which one would disintegrate Emilio's body and which one kills Crazy 8. Jesse is on body duty while Walt is on killing duty. There's just one problem. Crazy 8 is now awake, and Walt decides to feed and water him instead of kill him. In the meantime, Jesse can't find a plastic bin big enough to fit a body, so he uses his bathtub to melt the body with boiling acid. That's a Batman Forever shout out. Just letting everyone know. Anyways, after Skyler, yeah, you like that? After Skyler and Walt find out they were having a baby girl, she asks him who Jesse Pinkman is, and not knowing what to say, he tells her he sells him pot. Skyler confronts Jesse at his house, which kind of freaks him out, and tells him to stop. When Walt gets back, they both discover why Walt told Jesse to get the plastic bin, as the bathtub and all its contents fall through the ceiling. So there's that.
Big mess. Big mess. All right. Yeah, this was kind of a lot of fun to revisit. Like I said, we have seen this first season. At least I've seen this season only once. I haven't seen the rest of the show. So in the context of this first season, this leads up to one of my favorite episodes. One of my favorite moments of the first season is that bathtub sequence falling through all the contents of the bathtub falling through the floor. There's some levity with that moment. Also some kind of gross body horror imagery there as well. So it's right up my alley. I love the kind of dynamic that Walt and Jesse are having with each other, because even though they're kind of feeling each other out as criminals in this life of crime, they're also trying to feel out their relationship and how they work well with how they are going to work with each other, try to get out of this sticky situation where They're still trying to feel. They're still in the learning stages of their like kind of budding relationship, I guess. Also, Skylar too. I love the tough guy threats, the semi not tough guy threats. My brother's a DEA agent. My brother-in-law. That's a kind of a funny sequence that played out. But I do really enjoy the moments that Jesse and Walt do have here. I like the digging into their psyches here as well. So I like the direction it's developing and reminding me a lot of stuff that's to come. So, how about yourself?
Yeah, they have such a fun relationship. Uh, it's so weird, especially now because Walt has this definite like superiority complex in that you were my student, I am smarter than you,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, he is so
Out of his
street
element.
dumb. Yeah,
Yeah.
completely out of his element. And the stuff he doesn't know, Jesse kind of knows about. And Jesse does fine until he does something like, you know, the bathtub and realizes, yeah, he needs to start listening to Walt a little more on the science and stop listening and Walt needs to maybe listen to him a little more on the other stuff. But yeah, there's so many little things that happen that are just like when he's like, do you think Crazy 8 can be reasoned with? It's like, well, he tried to kill us yesterday, so there's
I wouldn't
that.
bet on it. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it. A little line of dialogue in that scene too is like something about like I should have went in business with my diaper wearing granny or something like that instead of with,
It's yeah, I'd ask my diaper wearing granny, but her wheelchair doesn't fit in the RV. I
yeah.
had that one written down
It's a
as
great
one of
one.
the dumber things said. All right. Well, we're starting to talk about scenes, so let's do it. What's the best scene?
Best scene. I think the climatic moment of the bathtub is a fascinating one, but the lead up to it as well. You know, he's smoking. He's like, you know what? Screw this. Why do I have to get these plastic totes? But I have a perfectly good bathtub upstairs, and trying to carry 200 pounds of stink up there. And he's like, what do you mean? Carry upstairs. She's like, well, I got a perfectly good bathtub, and then you just slowly the revelation of what's just about to happen on Walt's face, and Jesse's like confused, and they come out to the bathtub, and they see everything in the floor. I love the blood like dripping from the ceiling. It's like that's very horror esque. I dig that imagery there too, and even though it's not really a horror show anyway. It still has those kind of vibes for me because I'm such a big fan of that genre, and seeing all that like that carnage just comes to the floor. It's awesome. I also love how when they throw the body in, it has that like that clear camera, so it's like underneath the bathtub is where the camera's at, so you can see
Yes.
all the stuff that puts up. I thought that's awesome. We see a lot of that kind of stuff in other movies when like people are like on water and stuff like that too. I dig that how this episode was shot, and this is this one sequence and scene in this show that I really appreciate. So, and it goes out with a bang. 2 episodes with the ending and a bang. So, I like it a lot.
It's a common theme. Just
Yeah,
so you know.
a lot of bang.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. There was something there, and now I'm not sure. Oh, so I've always thought when the body falls through, it it looks like watermelon.
Yeah,
Would like right? I think whatever's left that falls through, it kind of looks like a skinned watermelon.
yeah. It definitely. What I was thought it was like it's just a giant like a cover like red covered turkey, like an old like turkey. That's what it kind of. But watermelon's a good shout out. It's like something like it's already kind of like been sitting around for a while. Clearly, the arms and legs look like they're already gone, and like
Yeah.
so it's just the torso. So it
Hmm.
has to be something big. So like either like a watermelon or some kind of like melon. It could be like a pumpkin or something like that too. Uh, but yeah, something like that is just about right. It's about that shape there, and then or I can see that.
Yeah. And one thing. All right, there's a slight problem I have with this with this scene. So it falls through, right? Why doesn't it immediately start eating at the next level?
Magic.
That's like one of the few things where I'm like, why not? Because it should.
In
and
theory, yeah.
but and I know they like one of the first things in the next episodes they start cleaning it up. So I don't know how quickly they do that or if they counteract it. I'm sure Walt figures something out, but I always found that interesting. Now I remember what I was going to say. You mentioned the shot from underneath. That's
Mhm.
a very popular shot in this show. It happens quite often.
Ah, okay,
They,
well,
they
cool. I'm
find
gonna
they
like it.
find new ways to use it,
Nice. I'm
so
gonna like
it
it.
keeps coming back. So if you like that shot, you'll continue to like that shot as it keeps happening. Yeah, that's a great choice for best scene. The one I'm gonna go with is the scene with Skylar and Walt at the doctor's office.
Mm.
Because a couple things. One, it's fascinating how he has to go from what he's doing at Jesse's house immediately there. And especially the scene right before it is when he finally gets the joint rolled and
Mm. Oh, yes.
is sitting there smoking. He's like, "Dude, you smoking weed? Wait, is that my
My
weed?
weed. Yeah,
Make yourself at home."
why
Uh,
don't you?
yeah, so that is a great scene. And then he's like, I got to go to a doctor's appointment, and then it's finding out that they're having a baby girl, and that's just I just find that hilarious that it's such a dichotomy between those two. But
Yeah.
then you get the encounter between him and Skylar, where she asks him, "Who's Jesse Pinkman?" And you can tell he's starting to learn how to lie. He hasn't had to do it much yet, but he's starting to learn how because he starts by saying something that he knows isn't going to pass. Who? It's like, he called this morning. Nothing. He's nothing. It's like, yeah, that's not going to satisfy.
Yeah.
And then he comes up with a lie. It's like, you know what? Let's go here. Why not? He sells me pot. I think I kind of like it. And the best part of that is, he's probably still a little high, which is why that came out like that. And then the shout out to that scene, the payoff for it later is uh when he shows back up and Jesse's your brother's a DEA agent, your brother-in-law. Oh, how'd you find that out?
Yeah, weight's off my
From your
shoulders.
psycho bitch wife that showed up. Yeah. Why'd you tell her I sell you weed? And he said, "Oh, because it was preferable to telling her I cooked crystal meth and killed a man." And like
Just so deadpan, like just like
that,
yeah,
you're
just
not wrong.
yeah.
You're not wrong. So, yeah,
It's a good one. There's a lot of like intertwining story like scenes that are all like it's like a kind of a piece together like a perfect puzzle. It's like that scene with the the ultrasound blends perfectly into that sequence, which blends in perfectly into the sequence we just talked about beforehand. Just kind of slowly goes down the line. Obviously, it's a show and it's told in a certain way too, but I love how everything kind of bleeds together into it.
and
So,
these
so
episodes,
far, anyway.
it's also perfectly crafted and flows well together. And you have those moments where you go from lighthearted to serious, like right away, back and forth. That you have to in a show like this to kind of keep that attention, keep things moving.
Correct. Yeah, and I think another and one I just want to mention real quick. Another great sequence is the Walter just driving down to Jesse's house. Is that crazy eight? Like what the, in the middle of the street? I was like, he's like, he drives by. He drives probably 50 feet past him before he realizes well, that's who crazy. That was crazy eight. I'm gonna do the perfect U-turn in this street. By the way, the most like is Albuquerque like not populated by anybody? No one like walking the dog or anything like that. No one's driving
No
on
one,
the street.
no one.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then he runs into a tree. I, that,
MVP
uh,
probably the tree. To
yeah,
be
I
honest.
mean, the most like, and there's several moments like that in that pop up where it almost feels like slapstick, especially in the first season or so. And yeah, that's definitely one of them where he just runs off and doesn't. He's still out of it enough that he just runs himself straight to a tree. It's
That'd
great.
be a funny take, actually. Just it's a guy running full bore into a tree. I love it. Kind of
Oh, wouldn't want to be on stunt duty that day.
yeah.
All right,
Crazy eight. All right, where are we going to?
douchebag.
Let's go douchebag. and I'm gonna kick this one off, or I kicked off the last one actually. Go ahead.
Go
Terry.
for it. No, go for it.
Okay.
Go for it. You're good.
I got Walter White here, so there's
Yeah.
not much obviously choices here, but the sequence the line of dialogue is when Jesse's at the store trying to buy the tote, the plastic crate for the body, and he basically is like, what's the difference? He's like, well, and he just basically kind of like belittles Jesse in this sequence. And granted, yes, Jesse might have flunked out and everything. He's like, well, you don't have to be such a dick or whatever in the store. Yeah, that's like the only real line is like it comes across douchey, but then also there's also probably somebody's answering machine too. But it's also
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the line is okay, be a dick about it.
Yeah, okay, be a dick about it.
Yeah. Well, and then it's also there's also the line later on where he's like, there's no bin big enough to fit a body. He goes, well, you could have gotten two, and how about get two? And
arms and torso, legs going, and guns going one, torso.
He's like, oh yeah, how about you kiss my ass?
I love like this cat douchebag is both of these characters obviously, but I love how they trade blows between who's the bigger jerk to each other. I kind of respect it. It's kind of like what we do on our podcast. We just haze each other throughout the whole runtime pretty much. We do it out of love, but they don't know what they feel about each other quite yet.
They really don't. They really don't. But I had Walt down too as the biggest douchebag of this episode, because at the same time that he's razzing Jesse for not doing his job right, he's refusing to do his job. And so, and I mean, we flipped a coin, man. and he's not holding up his end of the bargain. And instead he's, making him a bologna sandwich.
And if you think about it too, from Walt, like Jesse's perspective, like, Walt, you already killed that other guy with gas. Like, what's the point? Like, I had to get rid of that body now. Now you just do the other guy. Like, let's go. Yeah. Just, they could make some kind of trade. Like, do the other guy, and I'll get rid of the body again. Like, that's how it works. You kill the guys, I disintegrate them with acid.
Then he judges Jesse for smoking crystal while he's trying to get rid of the body. Then has no problem stealing his weed and smoking some of that. So he's kind of all over the place here, and
that's a great point.
It definitely makes him a douchebag.
Yeah.
All right. How about the Pink Man, Stick Man?
It's Walt. It's Walt again, right?
It's the only one. It's the only option, really.
But he did the ultimate bachelor stick man move. He didn't go back and snuggle afterward. He passed out in a different room.
He did. Yes. It was not from intoxication. It was from. It was from an ailment, but still. Yeah.
So, but from Skylar's perspective, what the hell?
Which is definitely the look on her face at breakfast the next morning.
Yeah, it's like that's why it's like. So, like, I was watching that scene, I'm like, man, she's just coming across the road. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, duh. The previous scene, basically, she got high and dry. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, on the bathroom floor. That's what, from her perspective, that's what happened.
That's what happened. What happened.
But Walt's like, I freaking passed out because I'm not telling you the truth about my condition. I'm going to tell you about busty high school students with their brassieres and their photos like the next morning. Not a great table conversation, by the way, especially to your high school son who knows what a Wonder Bra is.
All right, that goes to the favorite minor character, because mine was Walt Jr. just simply for that one scene. The Wonder Bra. It's called the Wonder Bra.
my minor character came from there as well.
And Skylar's just like, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
really?
You're telling me what a Wonder Bra is.
Nice.
I think I know.
I know. I think she knows. But my favorite, go ahead. My favorite minor character also comes from that scene, but it's Joan Everman, who has to reject all of. It's a character we don't even see. It's like, Joan, you know Joan, right? Joan Everman. She basically had to look at all these photos and like turn them down because of cleavage.
You know Joan.
Yeah, Joan Everman. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my favorite minor character though. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
How about the hate? Go ahead.
Best new face. There weren't many. I've got a couple, but did you have one?
Conspiracy theories. I think the guy that pulls them out of with the RV, That's
Mhm.
his kids at the very end who discover the gas mask.
Yes, those are two I thought of.
So
Hold on one second. Give me 1 second.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in the Half Shell, Turtle Power.
Right. So yeah, the other one I was thinking of was I don't even know if he's credited. I'm assuming he's Ben, his
The student.
student. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had that written down too as the
Is this
minor
going to be on the
character.
murder?
Mid-
Uh,
what?
what? Is this going to
Mid-
be on the midterm?
yeah.
This no, no,
I
no.
think he was credited in the credits because I was trying to find that character too, and I had him down as the minor character, but I was like, wait a second, Joan Everman, yeah. So yeah, Ben's a great shout there too. He was in the first episode, but uh, I think he was in the first episode. But I love that he was like, "Is this in the murder?" Yeah, what?
Yeah,
Wait a second. I love when like shows also do that. It's like they think they hear one thing and it's like they cut back to the reality thing too. I digged it. It was funny.
I think the only other like new character you could say is the OBGYN at the
Oh,
doctor's appointment. That's really it. I mean, this is the smallest credited cast. I mean, not the smallest, but it's pretty small. It is pretty small.
yeah, it was primarily in one room. Basically in three sets, really. The
Yeah,
classroom, the OBGYN, and like Jesse Penguin's house. So
yeah, it is.
oh,
It's and there are episodes that are even smaller that are coming
oh,
at some point.
perfect.
So, all
Um,
right, dumbest thing said in this episode.
his answering machine's pretty dumb. Yo, 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 repping from the. I don't even know the numbers. He said, "He's like, yo, leave a message, biatch."
ABQ.
Yeah, yeah, repping Albuquerque,
Yeah,
biatch. Leave a message. It's a
that one's pretty
pretty bad.
good.
I also had what the hell's a MILF?
Yes,
That's another
that's
that's
another good
another
one.
one that I was like, anyway, whatever.
Mine also comes from Skylar. It's when she visits Jesse
Oh
and
yeah.
she's like, "My name is Skylar White, yo. My husband is Walter White, yo."
The delivery is horrible.
it wearing granny.
Oh yeah. You cut out.
Oh, the other one I had was the diaper wearing granny. So
But
there's that one too.
perfect. The type of wearing granny. Good call. Midlife
All right.
crisis moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Um so I've got two here. One of them you've already kind of referenced, and it's
Uh-oh.
the not understanding the latest slang. When Skylar's looking at his, what do they call? They don't call it MySpace. Uh,
It's my shout dot us.
that's it. That's it. Yeah. But it's MySpace.
Yeah, it's my
It's MySpace.
Tom didn't
Um.
sign off on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
2008 most punchable face Tom.
So that was one thing well, we can talk a little bit more about later, but that was one thing I was thinking of is we could look at like outdated things
Mm,
since this episode is 15 years old and there are some things that pop up like referencing something that is a spin-off of MySpace. Yeah. Then the other thing I had written down for a midlife crisis moment is over explaining a situation, especially when it's a lie. And Walt does this twice. First, he over explains the whole thing with the cleavage and the Wonder Bra. But then there's the whole how they ended up in the ditch.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so they just
And I
told
get
me, and I just went and I ended up in the ditch. And yeah, you need to get like GPS, yo. It's like yeah. Oh, and coffee. You know coffee. Yeah, coffee. Yeah, it
it comes
spilled
hot. It comes hot.
all over my pants. And so the guy's like, I don't care. Just go away. and
I
the
think they
less you say,
say
the
like,
better.
I think they say "damn Sony GPS" or something like that. I think they say that. I was like, I didn't know Sony made a GPS. It's kind of
Uh,
interesting.
yeah. So those were my two. What did you
That's a
have?
great one. I also mine goes back to Skylar and Jesse first meeting. The not so tough guy threats. He's like, oh, my brother-in-law, DEA agent. You stop selling him that marijuana, yo, or whatever. just trying to be like trying to be threatening, but also he's like, oh crap. He's also freaked
Yeah,
out, so it comes across like not so
because
tough
he's
guy
also
threats.
hiding Emilio.
Yeah, you can clearly she is so blind. His feet, you can see like up to his knees behind
Mhm.
that. Like you can see half his knees. Like how did she not see that? I don't know. Whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was tough. And then also having those tough choices. That basically it's like rock and a hard place moments. Like I've been there. It's like okay, if I do this, the outcome's gonna suck. But if I do this, it's also gonna be a tough choice. What do we do? That's a tough one. But yeah, I like your slang one better. It
the
reminded
slang
me of
pops up in that in that scene too, where you've got the yo.
yeah.
My name is Skylar White, yo, and then it's like, yeah, I can dig that, and she's like, you can dig
You can dig that.
that.
It reminds me of like, so what I imagine, like I know this probably not gonna happen, but Skylar is what Barry is when he's doing talk to text. That's in that sequence. She's like, she's doing talk to text, but like trying to be like with slang. Like that's like, she's like I read this once on a site. Like that's what I picture Skylar. She's like that. Yeah, you're a talk to text person, aren't you?
Well, she's just picking up on whatever he's saying to try and sound
Yeah,
intimidating and hip.
being
I'm
like
hip.
world.
I'm jiggy with it.
Okay.
Um,
Nice to
yeah.
meet you, Kermit. What a step up.
All right. All right. I had one other thing that I felt was outdated before we get
Okay,
into
gotcha,
LVP and
gotcha, gotcha.
MVP, and it's when Skylar star 69's
Oh, good call.
Jesse,
Yeah, great call.
because she's like, that was a weird sales call, and so she star 69's it and finds the answering machine. I thought that was
Are
pretty
you
good.
an AT&T user, by the way?
No, no.
So this will be weird though, because if what happens if it was? Oh, I guess it comes across like AT&T. Are you happy with your long distance coverage or something like that? And like, why is AT&T calling? Like, I guess AT&T was a pretty big phone provider back in 2008, too, possibly too. So that could be. It's not. It's still around, but it's not nearly
Yeah,
as like the big buy. It's not Verizon or T-Mobile or whatever
yeah, it's true.
the other popular ones. But yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's a great call. Great
All right, LVP then MVP.
call. What I put was that is the worst like social media page ever. My shout.us page, Captain Cook, he clearly outs himself. Like if the DEA were so onto this guy, how come they didn't pull up that his social media page? It clearly says Captain Cook and Crystal all on the headliner, on the header of this social media thing.
Wasn't that hard to find?
And he even told him when he goes to high school, you know exactly who it is before you even like it just doesn't say Jesse Pinkman on it. He has high school information. He has his what he really likes with the on it. Yeah, it's
And plenty of it.
and plenty of it, like 4 times at least, all in caps. But it's like it's the most ridiculous social media page. But it's always funny when you watch old like shows and movies and stuff like that, and they don't have quite the rights to what the hip trending social pages or the websites at the time. I love seeing old like internet search bars. I'm like, that's you're trying to be like Ask Jeeves or Google or, yeah, or something like that, but it's clearly not. But I respect the effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, my LVP is hand sanitizer. So Walt finds Crazy Eight awake, and so
Oh.
he goes, and I found it's so funny because he just slowly starts sliding him more stuff, and so he slides him a jug of water, then he slides him another jug of water, and then he slides him his plate with the sandwich on it, and then he slides him a bucket, and then a roll of toilet paper, and then hand sanitizer. Well, I mean, you're imprisoning this guy in a basement. He's, he was on the brink of death due to poisoning him. But let's make sure you keep your hands clean. I
Not
mean,
that call.
why?
So so I was watching this episode, and my daughter was in the other room, and she walks in to ask me a question. She looks up real quick, and I'm like watching, and she's like, "What's the bucket and the toilet paper for, Dad?" I was like, "What do you use toilet paper for, honey?" She's like, "The restroom." I was like, she's like, "That is gross." She leaves the room. Oh, it's great. It might have been an MVP moment. I don't know, but she's like, "That is gross." And she's like, "You're gonna ask me my question?" She's like, "I don't even remember now." She just went out and just went back to play with her sister. It was awesome.
So your MVP is buckets.
Buckets, yeah, 5 gallon, preferably.
Yes, but
not
right.
that tote that they try to do bodies, dispose of bodies, but the 5 gallon circular kind.
Yes.
Actually.
All right, what's actually your MVP?
Finding Spider, the reverse phone book. That search engine. She typed. That was the quickest search. Typed in the phone number, and then Jesse Pinkman, the only option. Wow. And that's so detailed. There was an address. There was a social media page. The DEA couldn't figure this out, but Skylar did, whose brother-in-law is a DEA agent. But that was an MVP moment. Or well, go ahead. That's who one of my options are. So what's yours before I take them?
So it sounds like LVP also needs to be Hank, because he couldn't figure this out.
The more that we're talking about it, yes, I'm realizing that. Yeah, what does he really know other than cheese stick,
sit and spin? All right, I've got 2 MVPs. One of them is weed, because it finally it calms Walt down, and it gives him an out with Skylar. And then the other one is the Three Stooges, because I don't know why, but it kind of felt fitting that you're going to get high while watching the Three Stooges. But also, half of what they're doing in this episode kind of feels like a Three Stooges episode, so I thought it was kind of fitting that's what was on TV. That is pretty fitting. And that also goes to something outdated of going back to the days where on cable in the middle of the afternoon, you could find an episode of the Three Stooges. Yeah. Now instead of that, you get like the Eight Stooges that are the Real Housewives. So, yeah. I like it.
That's good. Better than what I said. Yeah, better than Big Bang Theory. Yeah. My other MVP is that random guy who passes by to get the RV out. I think that they could be still stuck there next to the cow houses.
The cow houses. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Now I know you had said your favorite part, or the most memorable part of this season, was the bathtub.
And also what's to come with the Crazy 8. I was
going to say, do you remember what comes next?
Yeah, Crazy 8 and Walt have like a big, they have their battle of wits.
Okay.
Talking. And I do know that Crazy 8 somehow gets out of his dog or his bicycle collar. And that's all that's strong or coming to me at the moment.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
So you kind of know what comes next.
Yeah. It's been several years since I've seen
you're kind of there, kind of not there. So this is going to be fun, because I think you mainly remember these first 2 episodes.
Yes.
Is what it sounds like. And you don't really remember much of what comes next. So there's going to be some slight realizations of, oh yeah. But for the most part, it sounds like you're going into some a little more fresh territory.
Yes. I vividly remember Jesse in a hotel room with a female.
Yes.
Yeah, at the beginning and then Hank shows up. That's also what I remember. I think Hank shows up.
Wendy.
Huh?
I think it's Wendy. I think is her name. We'll get to Wendy later.
Yeah, but that's later. But that's kind of the 2 things I can vividly remember right now.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get. as I'm probably watching, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, I remember this now. It's just gonna have to a refresher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I definitely remember these 2 first episodes pretty well.
I'm so excited for you.
Yes, my eyes will be blown out of my head by how awesome this is. So, all right, Terry. Anything else we want to bring up real quick, or?
I think that's about it. I forgot the one part about the doctor scene. That was my best scene. I forgot to mention how it ends, which is Walt still somewhat high, looking at Skylar and saying, "What I need from you is for you
Oh,
to climb down out of my ass for once. Could you do that? Just this once. Get off my ass." Like, uh, it is like, it's the start of Walt growing a spine.
it is. Yes,
It's a beautiful moment.
I thought that was
It's a beautiful moment.
climb out of my ass. Please do that for me. Get off my ass.
Just once, please.
It's a good call. Yeah,
That's my parting thought.
good call. I think that's a good way to stop it. It is the cat in the bag. Cat is out of the bag now because we just
Cat's in the bag. Oh,
it
cat's
is.
out of the bag now. I get it. I see where you're going.
I try to be a little clever because we were breaking down Breaking Bad today, and I'm Adam. That's Terry.
Breaking Bad.
Play it again. Let's just hear it one more time.
Oh, we got to hear it again.
Breakdown of Breaking Bad.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good. Anyway, until next time, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Sit and spin.
That's that.